Welcome back, YouTube. We are back with another final match here in the DryWalls tournament. We have Average Memer versus WBVG, aka Billy. Both of these players are undefeated coming into these finals, so no matter who wins, there will be an undefeated champion for this week's tournament. Hope you enjoy the set. It's gonna be Trainer, aka WBVG, with Grimmsnarl, Archaludon, Pelipper, Basculegion, Venusaur, and Sneasler against Memer with his Charizard swap team. It's gonna be Charizard, Aerodactyl, Farigiraf, Garchomp, Sylveon, and King Gambit. Rain versus Sun. Let's see who comes out on top in this Weather War finale. She was a Fairy, Sylveon, and Wonder Neck, the Farigiraf versus Grimmsnarl and Venusaur. Let's see what they choose to do here on turn 1 of game 1 in the finals. Venusaur going to be Mega Evolving here into Mega Venusaur, getting that Thick Fat ability, cutting the damage from Fire and Ice moves, which is really good here into a Sun team, as Light Screen comes up, making it even more difficult, along with the potential Rain in the background. Sludge Bomb coming out into the Sylveon, just going ahead and taking it down to under half, getting the Poison as well. Big damage immediately from Mega Venusaur, as Hyper Voice comes out, doing a little over half into the Grimmsnarl through the Light Screen, and only a little bit of chip into the Venusaur. Let's see what the Farigiraf wants to do. It does for a Psychic into the Venusaur, taking it also to about under half. Both of these Mons immediately at about half health. Sylveon, though, with the Poison Chip going down to about a quarter. Big damage from both sides. Giga Drain just going to heal itself health back a little bit. Not enough to finish off the Sylveon as it hangs on 1%. It toughed it out so they wouldn't feel sad as Hyper Voice picks up the Grimmsnarl, putting Venusaur right back down to what it was, getting a critical hit as well, meaning that based on the damage last time, it will just be taken out by another Psychic. Here it comes. Does it finishes the job? It does not. It survives on 7%. Sylveon will be hurt by the poison, though. It will be finished off there. With the Grimmsnarl gone, though, that means no damage will be going into this Farigiraf from a Spirit Break or anything like that, as Charizard now hits the field. Archaludon also hitting the field from Trainer. Light Screen is still up. Charizard could set Sun, but Pelipper could also be coming in with the Rain. It's going to have to be playing it out carefully here to win the Weather Wars. Venusaur are going to be swapping out, not wanting to be taken out this early on in the game. Pelipper, though, coming into the field. Will Charizard be Mega Evolving this turn? No, just going for a Protect. What does the Archaludon do here? Goes for Electro Shot. Will it be going into the Charizard, or will it be going into the Farigiraf? Let's find out in just a moment. Goes into the Charizard, hitting into the Protect, not doing any damage as Psychic comes out into what is now Pelipper, doing a quarter of its HP. Meaning that Memer can now Mega Evolve, drawing up the Rain and setting up the Sun. Light Screen is on the field, though. We got to keep that in mind. Archaludon now at +1 should be still be doing good damage, even if the Rain goes away. Pelipper will be swapping out. Venusaur will be going down here, most likely, which means that most likely Memer will win the Weather Wars. Sun does come out, drying up the Rain, meaning no more Electro Shots coming out from this Archaludon just yet. We'll have to see if it can survive a +1 Dragon Pulse, though. Weather Ball, though, coming out. If Archaludon can survive this through the Light Screen, let's find out. It does. It does 60% still. That's still great damage. What does the Archaludon do in response? Hits a Dragon Pulse, but it's a Dragon Pulse into the Farigiraf, not into the Charizard, taking it down to about half. as Psychic comes out into the Venusaur. Interesting. Arcalodon getting a little bit of leftovers recovery, taking it back up to about half HP. As we just saw, based on the damage it previously did, it's going to have to get itself, if it wants to survive another sun-boosted Weather Ball, to at least a little over 60% to survive a hit. We'll have to see what it does this turn. Not completely out of it yet, though, actually. They are still in a good position if they play this right. A lot of things could happen. Tailwind could go up, Trick Room could counter that Tailwind, or they could just not do any of that. Charizard going to be swapping out here to set the sun up later, bringing out the King Gambit in its stead. Electroshock coming out, going to +2. Will it be enough to finish off the Farigiraf, or to just take out the Gambit here? See what they go into. Looks like it's going into the Farigiraf, making sure that no Trick Room comes out, as they most likely go for a Tailwind here to gain speed control. No Tailwind, just gonna be Weather Ball going into the King Gambit, taking it down to 29% HP. No speed control for this Arcalodon. Scratching my back. Charizard drying up the rain once more with the sun, getting 5 turns out immediately. Three turns of light screen remaining as Arcalodon goes for Protect, hoping that its leftovers recovery can get it back up a little more. Sucker Punch, though, calling out that Protect, going into the Pelipper, taking it down to 30%, giving it the Citrus Berry proc, though. Let's see if Charizard doubles up. It goes for the Solar Beam, most likely into the Pelipper, calling out that Protect, hoping to get rid of the Pelipper before it can hit a Weather Ball into this King Gambit. Will it be enough? Not with the light screen up. Pelipper hangs on at 16%. Weather Ball does come out. Will be picking up this King Gambit, making it a 2v1. But will it be enough? Will it be enough? We'll have to find out. We have 2 more turns of light screen remaining. Arcalodon not over that 60% mark it needed to hit. We saw before that Weather Ball did 60% on the dot. This Arcalodon is at 58% HP. So if that Weather Ball does the same damage, it's going to be taking out this Arcalodon. They gotta hope for either a double Protect Tailwind or a low roll from the Weather Ball. Heat Wave, though, not a Weather Ball, doing spread damage instead. That won't be enough to take out the Arcalodon. Interesting choice. They must be banking on the fact that Charizard will just be able to take a +2 Dragon Pulse here from the Arcalodon. Let's find out. Dragon Pulse +2, not enough to take out the Charizard. They were correct with that. Arcalodon gaining the leftovers, taking it back to a quarter HP, 1 turn of light screen remaining, but that's just a Protect away, baby. Mimer knows his calcs well, knows that he could take that +2 Dragon Pulse from the Arcalodon and not have to worry. But a Heat Wave could have missed. Could have been a little risky there. Finishing off the Arcalodon as long as it didn't low roll and getting rid of the Arcalodon, making it just a 1v1 with the Pelipper could have been nice. But I understand the play, not wanting to risk a low roll, letting the Arcalodon survive anyways. Going for the double Protect, but not quite getting it, as Weather Ball does come out this time, meaning that Mimer is up 1-0 in this finale. They know exactly what they want to do, so let's find out here in this Game 2 of the finals. Once again, it will be Mimer versus WBVG. Mimer sending out the Sylveon and Farigiraf once more against the Grimmsnarl and Venusaur. No changes between Game 1 and 2, just hoping for probably a little bit of a different outcome with the rolls, with the damage rolls. Venusaur is going to Mega Evolve once again into Mega Venusaur. Grimmsnarl most likely will just be setting light screen in its place here. Will this be a repeat, or will it be a little bit of different calls coming out here? Light screen comes up, no Detect from the Sylveon to keep it safe from a Sludge Bomb this turn. as it does go back into the Sylveon, taking it back down to that 38%, doing the same amount it did before. Does it get a poison? No poison this time, as Hyper Voice comes out, once again, doing a little bit more damage to that Grimmsnarl than it did before, and just a little bit of chip into the Venusaur. Does the Psychic come out? It does come out. How much will it do? Taking it right back to 45% of its HP. Let's see how this turn plays out. Will it be a little different? Or will it be the same? Detect from the Sylveon this time, not wanting to go down to another Sludge Bomb, and just wanting the Farigiraf to hopefully finish off the Venusaur here, as Sludge Bomb does go into the Protect. Psychic comes out, will be faster than the Grimmsnarl. The Venusaur, once again, though, does live on 8% HP. As Spirit Break this time will go into the Farigiraf, taking it down to 70%, taking it down, doing a quarter of damage, dropping that special attack by 1. Venusaur might be in range of a quick attack, though, from the Sylveon. I don't believe it will be, though, based on the damage that Hyper Voice did, but that might be what they're trying to bank on here. We'll have to find out. They have an immunity to Sludge Bomb with that Kingambit, but they have to be careful here. Grimmsnarl will be retreating for now, not wanting to be taken out this turn, as Archaludon hits the field. Maybe Archaludon hopes to take a quick attack, as Venusaur goes to Protect here. Hyper Voice from the Sylveon going out. We'll be doing a little bit of chip into this Archaludon. A little bit, I say. It does a little over a quarter is what it does, as Psychic goes into the Protect from the Venusaur. Let's see what happens this next turn. Let's watch. 5 turns of Light Scaring remaining. Let's see what they choose to do here. Venusaur going to be swapping out, does not want to take the Psychic damage as Pelipper comes out, going to be setting up that rain for this Archaludon to start pumping out damage here. Will be an Electroshock coming out from the Archaludon, getting itself to +1, most likely into the Sylveon. Not wanting to take a potential Hyper Beam. It does go into the Sylveon, not wanting to take that Hyper Beam. Even through the light screen, most likely would have picked it up, but not anymore as it's gone. Pelipper will also be taking the Psychic. No! Calling out the swap, going for Thunderbolt, only doing exactly half, though. Hitting the Paralysis, though, that could be huge for Memer as Citrus Berry procs, taking it back to 75%, 3/4 of its HP. Archaludon sitting at 78% with a special attack boost already up. That was surprisingly little. It's at -1 special attack for that Farig as well. We got to keep that in mind. That's why it only did 50%. But that is still a surprising amount to see. You would think it would do a little more, even at -1. Pelipper swapping out. Most likely just going to be coming out for the Venusaur, just giving it a little bit of a sack. As Charizard sets up the Sun. Do we see the Archaludon Protect this time, or will it just try to eat this damage? Protect from the Archaludon, not wanting to take that damage. Let's see what comes out next. Heat Wave coming out. Will it hit the Venusaur? Does connect to the Venusaur. Will be taking it down, dropping that 8% to 0. Thunderbolt going into the Protect now that it was redirected from that Pelipper. Leftovers going to be boosting up that health back to 85%. Almost full. Is a 3v3 here. Pelipper, though, is paralyzed, but Rain is up. Have to see what they choose to do here. Remember, Archaludon is +1 already from an Electroshock previously used. Could be getting to +2 here. Let's see if they make a little bit of a different adjustment here. If they go for that speed control like I thought they were going to do in Game 1. Rain is freshly set at 5 turns remaining. Zard will be swapping out, obviously, as Kingambit hits the field. Electroshock coming out. Will it be going into the Farigiraf? It looks like it is charging up to go into that Farigiraf. Now it's at +2 special attack. It is going into Farigiraf. Let's see how much it does. Will it be enough? Not enough for Farigiraf. Taking it down to 10%. Getting its Citrus Berry back up to 35. Weather Ball, though, doubling it up, knowing it probably wouldn't be enough. But again, just losing out on gaining a little more speed with the Tailwind that could have potentially come out. But now, because they still have Grimmsnarl in the back, they win the Weather Wars this time instead of Mimir, which will make all the difference here. Mimir is stuck with both of these mons in the field. We already know that our Caledon will live a Heat Wave with the Light Screen. We already know our Caledon will live a Weather Ball with the Light Screen. At +1 defense, it will probably live a Sucker combo as well. Doesn't just go for an attack this turn. Grimmsnarl coming out, just going for Protect, not going for it. Heat Wave coming out. What does the Kingambit choose to do? Grimmsnarl missing. I don't think he wanted Grimmsnarl to avoid the Heat Wave. I think he kind of wanted him to get hit. We'll have to find out here. Caledon basically back to full HP as the last turn of Light Screen is here. I think Mimir wanted Grimmsnarl to go down here. Not gonna lie. Or I think WB wanted Grimmsnarl to go down here. Going for the parting shot though, just getting the Zard down to -1. Just as well getting free swap now that the Fergraph's not here. Just gonna be going in for the forfeit, knowing that he is cooked. Going to be Fergraph and Kingambit this time against Basculegion and Pelipper, both trainers saying, I'm going to switch things up actually. But it looks like Mimir switched things up a little better with that Kingambit into the Basculegion change. Have to see what they do a little differently this turn around. Basculegion having to swap out here, does not want to take a Sucker Punch. As Grimmsnarl comes out onto the field, does Mimir call that swap though? Double swap, getting the Arcaludon in as well, just hoping to give it a little bit of a stamina boost here as Kowtow Cleave calls out the swap, going into the Grimmsnarl, just doing a little bit of chip though. Not a lot, because it is also a Dark type, as Thunderbolt doubles it up. No, Thunderbolt goes into the Arcaludon, does give it that stamina boost, getting it to +1 stamina, which will be helpful into this Kingambit on the opposing side of the field. Leftovers for the Arcaludon will be taking it right back up to 95%, almost full. Good turn for WB DG, getting the most out of it. Grimmsnarl will be going for a Reflect, ignoring the special damage that could be coming from the Fergraph, and just saying the Kingambit is the threat here. Let me start to take care of it as Electroshock comes out, getting the Arcaludon a +1. Who is it targeting into? Let's find out here. Looks like it's going into Fergraph. No, it goes into Kingambit. I guess it does not change. Taking down to 36%. Ironhead, though, coming out from the Kingambit into the Grimmsnarl. Not enough thanks to the Reflect. Do they double it up with a Thunderbolt, though? No, just going for Trick Room. Gotta make sure that they have speed control for another chunk of this battle. Leftovers will be coming out, though, bringing that Arcaludon back up to full HP. As if nothing's happened to it, but it has special attack boosts and stamina boosts. Grimmsnarl most likely just going to be getting a Light Screen off and then calling it a day for this tournament. 4 turns of Trick Room remaining. Kingambit on the other side of the field and Fergraph. Most likely a Sylveon in the back with a Zard as well. Light Screen coming out from this Grimmsnarl before it bids us au revoir and calls it a day as Thunderbolt comes out to finish it off. No, it hangs on, saying, I'm not done yet. You thought you could get rid of me that easily. No siree, as Low Kick comes out doing nothing into the Arcaludon through the Reflect and the Stamina boost, now putting it at +2 defense as Electroshock comes out from the Arcaludon. Doesn't ignore the Kingambit, saying, you're not a threat to me anymore. I've gotten my boost. I've gotten my Reflect. I just need to get rid of this Fergraph. Let's see what they choose to do. Looks like it's going into the Kingambit again, just going to get rid of it. Not wanting it around for the potential late game Basculegion that they have waiting in the wings. 3,000 degrees Charizard hitting the field. But Mimir is already down. Trick Room is up, and we have seen that this Charizard is faster than Arcaludon, meaning Arcaludon will be outspeeding the Charizard in the Trick Room, and it's already at +2 attack, special attack. Now we did see that a +2 special attack Dragon Pulse will not be enough to pick up the Zard, as we saw in game 1. But Zard will just be protecting this turn, maybe calling out a swap there. Parting Shot, though. Side Parting Shot into the Arcalodon to get the swap into what will most likely be Pelipper. Basculation actually is going to be coming out onto the field. Interesting. Anyways, it's just going to be boosting itself right back up to +2 with the Electroshock. I'm not entirely sure about that play. Going into the Protect, ignoring the Farigiraf, as Roar comes out, going to be resetting that Arcalodon. As Grimmsnarl hits the field once more. Reflect is up for 5 more turns. Light Screen is up for 6 more turns, meaning that most likely Charizard Y is going to be Mega Evolving. Basculation should survive a Thunderbolt. I don't know if it'll survive a Thunderbolt and a Solar Beam. What does Basculation choose to do here, though, is the real question, as Sun comes out and dries up all the rain. Spirit Break. It will be slower than the Farigiraf going into the Charizard, taking it to -1, lowering that damage output even more than it already is, thanks to the Light Screen, as Thunderbolt does come out into the Basculation. Not enough, thanks to the Light Screen, taking it down to 18%. Does the Charizard... Oh, with a critical hit as well. That might be bad for them. Wave Crash, though, coming out next in the Sun will still do a lot of damage. It will be enough to pick up the Charizard, meaning that Weather War has been won for WB and not Memer, as they're stuck with their last 2 Mons. Basculation goes down to the recoil, but it did its job. It got rid of the Charizard. Rain is here to stay. Rainy days all day. She was a fairy out. It is indeed the Sylveon last. What Sylveon is a mod you would want against an Arcalodon and a Grimmsnarl. Remember though, Light Screen is up for 5 more turns. This is the last turn of Trick Room though. What do they choose to do? It's not entirely over for Memer, even though they've lost the Weather War. It could still swing heavily in their favor if they get a few turns right. This game is still anyone's game. They're going to have to think these turns through. That's why they're not just clicking buttons and going as if the game's over. Quick Attack coming out, going into the Grimmsnarl, finishing it off, calling out that there will be no Hyper Voice, no Hyper Beam, not bothering to protect itself, just going for a Dragon Pulse to get some damage down into the Farigiraf, doing 30%. That is a bulky Farigiraf, as Roar comes out into the Arcalodon, swapping it out for the Pelipper in the back. Potentially calling out a Pelipper swap, just in case it went for a Pelipper swap with the Grimmsnarl and an Electroshot. Twisted Dimensions return to normal. Arcalodon will come back onto the field. There's ways for me to win this still. They've got to make a call right here. I'm going to wait till they've inputted their moves to say what I'm thinking. WB also has to make a call here, though, if they think of the same thing I'm thinking. It will be no protects, just Electroshock coming out. Will it be into the Sylveon? Let's find out. I was thinking of protect the Farigiraf, calling the double up into the Farigiraf to stop Trick Room, protecting the Farigiraf, protecting it from the double up, and going for a Hyper Beam into the Arcalodon to take it out. But they do not do that. They just let it rip, doubling up the Farigiraf. It doesn't die, though. He didn't need to. He said, I don't care. I'm just going to hit you anyways. As Trick Room goes back up again. Going for a protect into the, does this Farigiraf even have protect? It doesn't have protect. It's got Roar. Dummy. Doesn't even have protect. So that was the right play. Never mind. I was going off of it having protect. I was like, yeah, you do this, you have these options. There's mind games here. Farigiraf continuing to prove yet again that it just never dies. As Thunderbolt comes out into the Pelipper, picking it up. This would make this a single target, but it's Hyper Beam anyways, going into the protect. Hyper Beam though, As we know, Hyper Beam's not 100% accurate. It could miss, and that might be what WB is banking on here. Burgraph continuing to prove Twitter right that it cannot be stopped from setting up a Trick Room. Going for Psychic just to get a little bit more chip down onto their Talon, taking it to a little above half. Does the Hyper Beam hit? Does it get erased? Hyper Beam comes out. Hyper Beam connects. Our Caledon will be erased from the analogs of history as it goes down to 0% HP, completely wiped off the board, sent to the Shadow Realm. And Memer is our undefeated champion for the Series 10 of DryWalls. Congratulations to both of these finalists. Congratulations to all of our amazing competitors that played in the tour this week. I appreciate, once again, everybody coming out, everybody playing and participating and supporting. None of this would be possible without you guys. We do this every Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. And I hope to see you all again next week. Hey everybody, if you liked that video, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below so you can get updated when there's new footage out. If you would also like to catch these videos live, feel free to follow me on Twitch using the link below, as well as Twitter, where you can get any updates and other wacky nonsense. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.